This is an episode.
Okay, we're going. How you doing, man?
Right on. Chilling.
Yeah.
Chilling.
So we put off talking about it when you first came in. Dude, you released your collection 2 days ago now. How's that feel?
Yeah, that's correct. Just reliving. You know, I was working on that for months now, and you know, it's good to finally get that off my chest and you know, get some good feedback from my peers and other people I haven't met, and I can finally start working on new stuff.
Yeah.
So.
I was like, I put on my story saying that I was mind blown, but like I genuinely was. That presentation, was that done with Gabe?
Yeah. Good old Gabe. Yeah.
Yeah, it was really damn good. I was like, and the audio too, like the music was really interesting.
Yeah. That was I didn't make that at all. That was artist Cities of Eve. I think the song's called "Not That I'm Anywhere." But yeah, Gabe killed it. He's like the only guy I work with now that you know, with video and photo. I like refuse to work with anybody else, and he's the go-to guy, and he'll turn any idea into like exactly what I wanted. Like I had, like for that video, like I had this idea. Okay, I don't smoke weed a lot, but sometimes, you know, I'll ask my buddies if I can rip the bong, you know, and they got a little high one night, and you know, I thought of this idea, and I had the song in the back of my head because I love that song, and I just had this idea, and I wanted my buddy DZ, he's a very talented painter, to come by and do this, like, you know, kind of skit, this painting skit before the runway. And, you know, I sketched it out on paper and, you know, went over it with Gabe, and he just killed it. We just made it happen. And, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was wild. The painter was really interesting. So where is he from?
Who?
The painter?
DZ, he's from Chicago. And he used to be my classmate in draping class. And, he's a talented artist. He mainly focuses on, well, I mean, I don't want to, you know, pigeonhole him in this one sector of style of painting, but he tells these stories of black experiences. I don't know, you know, whoever's listening or you know, check out his work, and you know, it's tells a story.
Yeah,
his paintings.
Yeah, sweet. How long ago was that? Like, how long was that in the works? It just seemed like such a high budget sort of video, even though I know
for sure.
I mean,
for me,
yeah. So yeah, just how long was that in the works? And you did it at Shangri-La Studios, correct?
Yeah, Shangri-La. Mm-hmm. Well, regarding your first question, I mean, the entire collection I started working on in November, and the video portion, I mean, that came about, that was like last. I mean, you know, I finished the collection, and then it's all about how I want to present it. And presentation is just as important as the actual material. Yeah. That weirdly, I've been reading like fashion theory lately, and they're talking about how like with like how things are ending up, that even the presentation is just becoming so much more predominant than like it once was. Like it was, I know that like runway shows were obviously such a big deal, but with like all the media platforms emerging, it's becoming like brands are starting to present their materials in like 1,000 different ways, and in like thinking about how they're going to display it on like a certain platform and another platform, X, Y, and Z. I don't know, and it's just interesting that you were thinking so much about it, and like I'm making a connection to just my own ratings, but it's just like you're sort of like you're not following anything. I think that it just is like, I don't know, I'm just bringing it up because it just speaks to that does seem to be the direction things are going. How do you feel about like fashion, like moving forward into this like ever more like digital space? Do you have any like general ideas when it comes to that stuff? I mean, it's been like, I mean, I feel like it's been like that. I mean, yeah,
the past couple of years, from what I've seen, I mean, the presentation is becoming more vital and relevant than maybe so than the actual product itself, because it's like less and less people are going to stores these days, and that's the only thing you see. You don't see the clothing, and not everyone can afford these things or have access to certain products. So presentation is how it's delivered to the user first. And what was your second? You asked something else after that.
Just like how do you feel like just in general about like the space right now?
Especially because of COVID. I mean, people are. Not even in fashion, but every kind of company is thinking different in how they can engage users and engage their audience to purchase product and experience their story. But so, I don't know. Like, for example, the runway film that we made. I had this idea of doing a skit before the actual runway. First inspiration was Virgil Abloh's Louis Vuitton show. I think like the latest one he did for the Louis Vuitton men's spring collection. There's a huge choreographed dramatic skit before the actual runway. It was just beautifully choreographed and written, and I was like, whoa, that's people have done that before, but I saw that and I was like, that's the wave.
Yeah, it was crazy. When I saw that video at first, it really blew my mind in a similar way, and even with that like grand opening, but then just how well choreographed just like the actual runway presentation was when they're all walking around, and it was like, I don't know, it was just super crazy.
That was so chaotic to film. Like, yes, it looks very bliss and relaxing to watch, and my friends were saying they give him goosebumps. But that was so chaotic. I was mad stressed when we were making that, because especially like I love one takes, and even Gabe complains to me now. He's like, "Bro, stop the one take. It's so stressful." But I love one takes because they get the viewer immersed into the content so much, and we did a one take. It was like 75% of the videos all in one take, and that was very chaotic. We had to choreograph that in like 1 hour because we were running out of time for our scheduled time slot at this studio. But I don't know. That was very chaotic, but it worked out.
Did you do like any like dress rehearsals or anything for that?
For what?
For the presentation. Like, did you have people come in like on a day before and like practice it at all?
No, nobody there practiced anything. We had to do it all there. I mean, like I had garment fittings. I had a garment fitting session like a few weeks before that, but no, everyone that was there and all the models that were there, we had to tell them on the spot what to do. Yeah. And they were very cooperative.
Yeah. Yeah, that's like I feel like the really like just crazy part about it. And everybody that I showed it to, I was like at a birthday party actually with a friend while I watched that, and I showed it to them all, and they were all like saying the same thing about just the choreography. It was impressive. But what was your favorite? Do you have like a favorite personal fit from the show? I was curious about that while I was watching it.
No, they're all sick. I don't know. I like them all. Each has their own little bit of coolness and innovative design. In my opinion, I think the breadwinners out of the whole project, product wise, was like these pod bags that I made, and then like those balaclava sweaters. Those caught the attention a lot. Yeah. But no, they're all cool, I think.
Yeah. How was the balaclava sweater constructed, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, I have these lovely ladies that I got a hold of. They knitted the sweaters for me, and I got in contact with them through they made some balaclavas through me, and I mean for me, like 2 years ago, I always used to wear them around campus and stuff, and I hit them up and I sent the concept and design and stuff, and they hooked it up, and it was a cool experience because working internationally, there's definitely a new experience that I had to work through because you work with extended deadlines and they don't speak great English, so a little barrier there, but we got them done, and they're very talented. Shout out Svitlana.
Right on. No, as soon as I saw those, I was like, that is an insane knit, man.
Bro, they came out crazy.
Yeah.
They came out insane. Yeah.
I don't know. Did you take it like a knitting class at all?
No.
I was just like touring the building with my roommate Joey, and we were looking at like the knit machine, and it would be sweet to learn how to use, but
oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's a complicated process. Those were hand knit, and don't ask me how they did it. I don't know. I sent them the concept, and I think they made a pattern, and they're fantastic.
Yeah, that's like some real like artisanship. I think that's becoming even more prevalent right now, like true artisanship in clothing. You think about fashion houses doing things like that. I'm trying to pull one off the top of the head. It might have been Hermes or Hermes.
Hermes, yeah.
Yeah. They had like some really specific type of artisan leather being made by one family who knew how to do it a certain way, and it was just they made like a video on it, obviously to promote it. But
that's cool.
I need to turn this off. It's my thing's bugging. But I just feel like it's becoming even more, and I'm also basing this on things. I was like, I've been reading so much, man, and they're talking about how they think that that's important now, and also being like a printmaker. Like I come from heavy printmaking. My dad's a print professor, so I've just like always been kind of tied into that, and I'm really interested in how like the artisans are going about their craft, and you can probably relate it in many ways, but also just through like the sewing, like those like pockets that you were doing and whatnot.
Those are so sick. I love this.
Yeah, it's like doing things differently because you're like so good at the craft that you understand how to. Yeah. How do you feel about? I don't know if you have any thoughts, but just like artisanship. Do you see that even more today being important than it has been? Maybe not, but you had cool stuff in your collection that was made by them. So I'm just tossing it out there.
You're asking me how do I feel about artisan craftsmen, artisan/craftsmen?
Also in just like it's really hard to, and I think the reason that we don't see more of like that stuff is that it's expensive, very expensive.
Yeah, and it should be.
Yeah, it's a specialized craft.
Yeah.
So it's like hard to put it out there and sell it. It's not really as market viable as other things are. Meanwhile, you have people on like Etsy selling things for ridiculously low prices, but at scale, I don't know. It's just like a weird space, but most of the cool stuff comes from like the artisans.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I don't know when you're speaking about this just reminds me like so much when I was my dad took me to northern Africa in Morocco 3 years ago. And, I wanted, and, Morocco is known for their handmade textiles, specifically in rugs. But, when I went there, I was like, I want to know, like, I want to see what all this textile buzz is about that, stereotypes. So we had this like low key non-corporate tour guide. He was like total like Moroccan hippie kind of dude and totally down to earth. And we told him like, yo, I want to, can you take us to where they make the rugs? Like not a factory, like a low-key place where an artisan is making these rugs. And he's like, I got you. Well, he didn't say, I got you.
Sweet.
He said, I don't know. But, so he drove us, drove us hours to this little town, and we went to this, like, little building, and, there was this, like, whatever, 100-year-old woman, sitting in this. It looked like her legs were broken, but she was like sitting in the, pretzel style, like doing these weaves, and her hands looked like blueberries. I don't know, because she had this like dye on them, and she was like weaving away, and that was an example of like just a skilled artisan that I witnessed firsthand, and the artisan is there, and then they have the salesman. The two salesmen, and my father actually purchased some rugs from them that this lady made, and he spent I think thousands of dollars on them, and I don't know, and especially in overseas, I wish these artisans would get paid more. I doubt that sweet lady was getting what she actually deserved, but she was there and she loved it. But
yeah,
I respect it.
Yeah.
I respect it. 100%.
It's super cool. It always makes me just like really appreciate the thing. Like it's obvious, but like if something was made with a lot of care, you appreciate it more.
Of course.
As far as like textiles go, because you brought it up, I'm taking fabrics right now. So I'm like finally like learning basic stuff about textiles, fabrics. Do you know like what's your favorite like type of fabric to work with? Because I'm starting to realize like how cool it can get, and like all the variation that you can do. Mm-hmm. Is there any like fabrics that that you like to use?
I honestly don't know a lot about fabrics. I know like the basics, and like heavily inspired by popular vintage materials, and also innovative, technologically advanced materials. There was kind of like a big vintage inspiration with this collection I just put out. Taking materials such as like French terry cloth, and like I don't know, certain details that I take from vintage clothing, but I don't know. I mean, I probably couldn't answer you. I don't know. I'm probably not. I don't know yet so much about textiles and the composition of materials. I took fabrics too, and I thought it was very good. I don't know. It was my strong point, but I do realize that materials is the most important. Okay. Maybe not the most important, maybe like the second most, either the or the second most important aspect of, if you're talking clothing. It's the part that, you interact with the most.
Yeah.
So, I think it's important to realize, the environmental impact, and, if when you're buying or making materials like this, and I don't know. I think it's important to know what you're dealing with.
Yeah, for sure. I feel you. Yeah, I'm just tossing things out there, loose things. But you mentioned, because you brought up sort of like the materials for the collection. You were saying, or I saw on your Instagram sort of like these 3 pillars that were strong in the collection, which was like unfinished surfaces, and excuse me, I can't remember off the top of my head the other 2, but unfinished surfaces.
Imperfect.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Imperfect surfaces, minimalism, and then human form.
Mm-hmm. And can you pull your just a little bit, right, and then if you like grab it here, you can pull it down with you.
Okay.
Yeah. Or here, grab this thing. There you go. Perfect.
Got it right there.
Yeah, sorry. It's just like I would hate to like have it go out and then the audio is messed up.
No, it's okay. Right here is good.
Yeah, that's perfect. But yeah, those pillars.
The pillars.
Yeah. Imperfect materials was an interesting one because like when you pointed it out, I realized that if you're making a collection that is sort of a derivative of like nature, and it's I don't know, people like to reference nature all the time, but I've never thought about imperfect materials being so central like in all of that. But it really is. Like, there's no finished materials in nature. So if you're trying to make things that feel natural and that sort of make intuitive sense, then that's definitely a good way to sort of reflect that. So I'm just saying, I'm like applauding you. That was awesome. But I don't know if that's even the direction that you were coming at it from. That's just sort of what I pulled. Do you have anything to say on it?
Yeah, I mean, you know, when you're talking about nature and the human form is nature. Mm-hmm. You know, nothing is perfect. There's no material or surface or substance that's perfect. So, you know, I tried to think about that, and I mean mainly when I mean imperfect surface, not imperfect materials, imperfect surfaces on these materials. Mainly, I'm talking about the dyeing process with that, and how like when you hand dye, you get these variants in color, and that's what I wanted to achieve. You know, rather than just, you know, pulling a bulk of fabric off a rack and it's just there and you make something, because then it's like kind of perfect. You know, you have the straight color there, and you know, when I talk about imperfect surfaces, that's kind of what I mean. The hand dyeing, and I did these certain dye techniques, like, you know, certain dip dye techniques that would, you know, achieve different variety in texture. I mean, different variety in color saturation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the dyes were really cool. I don't know anything about dyeing yet, but like I have some friends that are way into natural dyes.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, natural dyes is so sick. I did this project like in New York with natural dyes. Natural dyes that's a bitch to get right, because there's no direct formula. You know, with RIT dye, which I use, you know, the whole project that we've been talking about, everything is hand dyed, mm-hmm. And you know, I used RIT products. I wanted to use natural dyes, but they're a little inaccurate. You have to go through a lot of intensive research and manipulation of, you know, and keep trying it, and this is not something I wanted to go through. But yeah, natural dye, I think that shit's sick. I wish all clothing was naturally dyed, because I mean, I was about to wear a natural dyed T-shirt that I made here, but I don't know. I know when you wear clothing, you know it's kind of a little bit of it is from nature. Obviously, the cotton as well, but the color, I don't know, it just feels good.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't even think I have any naturally dyed clothes. I need to get some. Like I said, I have a bunch of friends who are like making stuff with natural dyes, but I would be interested in how it interacts with the skin. That's such like something I don't think about that often. Is like, obviously we're making clothes, and sort of the thing that clothing interacts with the most is your skin.
Right.
So it's interesting like how different dyes could have different effects.
I think it's more of a mental thing.
Yeah.
I think. Mm-hmm. Rather than a physical.
It's like valid nonetheless. It's just like I could see the feeling of it. Yeah, like you said, just feeling a lot more, I don't know, like loose. Well, obviously natural feeling. We've been pulling that up a lot. But yeah, it seems really cool. What was funny is like I was reading about like sort of during it might have been the 50s when they were like making all these synthetic dyes, and they were so excited to like make these dyes, like we can get perfect black, like we can do like these perfect colors, and everybody was super pumped on it.
It's
and
probably
now,
so bad for the environment. Yeah, I don't know, but go on.
They were probably putting that probably is what has developed into the big issue
like
is now.
Motor oil.
Yeah, straight up. But yeah, you can get a good black dye with some motor oil, get some gasoline or something in there, but what I was getting at is like it's funny that now we're we're sort of regressing, going back to these natural dyes, and it seems like it's like pretty much universal that people are like liking this a lot more, coming off of like all of these synthetics. So I just thought it was like, I don't know, it was sort of a weird moment to realize like sometimes like the developments that are happening is something that will totally like we'll go back on in the future, but they seem so awesome like in the moment.
Right.
So
I can see that.
yeah, I'm going to be playing around with dyes in the future for sure, like when I'm making my show my senior year or just working on clothes, but I've yet to mess around with it.
Yeah, you should at least dive into it. See if it's for you.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people like get really sucked into it and like are doing like bacteria dyes, like doing things with chemists.
Do you know Jordan Arthur Smith?
Yeah.
He's my buddy. Like I say, he's my buddy now. We've met and hung out quite a few times, and I worked with him with his collection. He's like high key genius, but he just doesn't tell anyone. Have you met him?
I haven't met him in person. I'd love to talk to him sometime though. I know like Maze, his
why does that sound so familiar?
It's his male model.
Okay.
I was hanging out with him. Like,
wait, does he go to Kent?
Yeah.
Okay. I think I've met him.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah, but he's like I don't know, high key prophet right there. Yeah, he like that chemist shit that you said. I don't know. When he's talking to me, he's like, and I'm like, word, yo, it's fucking sick. I don't know what the fuck he's talking about.
Yeah.
But he's using all this bacteria stuff that grows on the clothing, and you put it in water, it disappears and does all this crazy shit. Then he's using like, I don't know. I can't even. I don't know. But yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, I don't know. And he advertises that in the clothing, and people pay the big bucks for it because it's new and it's innovative.
Yeah. That's always like just seeing people who are pushing things forward and like trying things out like that. I have so much respect for them because it's hard to be on the frontier like that. Like that takes real knowledge, like you're saying. Like it would go over my head too.
Knowledge
like
and passion. Like you don't just do that because you maybe want to do it. Like he does it because he's probably very interested in the whole process.
Yeah.
Of that.
Yeah. It's weird because I'm also in fashion tech right now. Jeez, I'm just bringing up all these classes.
Oh,
but
boy.
It's like that class. It's quite a lot of work, especially for somebody like I already know how to use the Creative Suite, so I'm just like, I don't know, rehashing a lot of stuff in a fashion sense. But it can be a little bit boring, but also somehow like a lot of work because But the interesting part about it is like it has me thinking about like they have us watching these documentaries of like growing clothes. You know what I mean? Like
really?
Like yeah, like bacteria leather or stuff like that, and it's just like. Geez, like it would be awesome to be on the forefront, and I have so much respect for those people. But I need to become like you said, it's like highly passionate about these things. It's highly specialized. There was one lady, and I wish I remember her name. She thinks that the future, so like to solve this sustainability thing, it's like we're gonna get everybody to wear one garment, and it's gonna be the perfect garment, and it changes, and it like displays like your emotions, and like one of her pieces like flares up on the shoulders when it senses a particular like impulse in your brain, and I was just like, geez, man, that's way sick.
When you see a hot chick, go up or something.
It goes right up. Yeah, no, that I think that's what she was getting at.
That would work in church.
Yeah, it would be in the worst moment. You'd be in like history class or something, and pops right up.
Tracy walks by you to sharpen her pencil.
Straight up. But
I've thought about that though before. Like, you seen Back to the Future?
I actually haven't, and I watched like a decent amount of movies, so I'm embarrassed to say it.
You need to watch the trilogy, especially the first, like the first and second one. But I think the second one, Marty McFly goes to the future, and he has this, jacket that he gets all wet and he dries himself off in like 10 seconds, and like stuff like that. I think that's like the future. I've always imagined this like this wetsuit, wetsuit surfers. Like I've always imagined this wetsuit type of garment where it's only like one size fits all. Somehow it can like stretch to any buddy's body size and it fits your exact proportions, and it would be temperature controlled, where you can wear it in the summer, you can wear it in the winter, and it would just be one layer of like skin tight kind of clothing, and you wouldn't need a coat or anything. Mm-hmm. And I've always thought about that, and I think it's possible. Maybe in a couple decades, but
yeah,
I've always thought about a concept like that.
Yeah,
like,
who knows like how like high end like active wear is developing. They've got like some really technically advanced materials. For instance, I actually worked at a running store like throughout high school, and we're always like I'm selling like obviously specialty like running clothes. Yeah. And one of like the coats that we got in last year was obviously like if you're running and you have that waterproof material on for when it's raining, it wouldn't be able to be breathable, right? Because that's what's keeping the water out, is that it's completely closed, all the molecules. But they were able to like put like pinholes that were small enough to not let water molecules in, but like there were holes so that way it was breathable. It's just super like crazy stuff like that. And,
yeah, man.
And that's like what they've got on the shelves. Like I don't even know what they're experimenting with behind the scenes.
People, I mean, that shit I love, and people don't even realize how innovative and relevant that actually is, because people don't even wear activewear really, unless you're like working out or mountain climbing, or I don't know, fucking snowboarding. Yeah. Like no one really wears activewear unless you're doing active activities. And I don't know, hopefully in the future there's going to be some fine line between activewear and like what we're wearing, like t-shirts now, where, those properties will be in these
these like basic garments. Well, quote unquote basic. I'm sort of convinced, and that's something I'd like to explore. I was actually talking to Joey about it while we drove to Pittsburgh yesterday. I think that activewear, and I think this comes from working at that running store and being a runner my whole life, but I think that it's like totally not messed with in the fashion space how it could be.
Yeah, for sure.
And I don't want to that makes it like really something that would be worthwhile exploring.
He's definitely right. It's definitely not treated as the same thing.
Yeah.
And that's where I think fashion technology can be in the future. I think people will get a sense of what can be done.
Yeah. Like, I don't see why there can't be a runway Patagonia type thing where it's like all of the stuff is sophisticated but also extremely functional.
I mean, runway is more about like the presentation, like about like the look of the clothes, not the performance of it. Because I feel like if you want to somehow present the performance about what we're talking about, that has to be presented in some other way. Mm-hmm. I don't think a runway could do justice with performance stuff like that. Like that's more of a physical experience. And that's where I'm curious how innovators and, these designers in the future, how they're going to advertise and display this virtually to where it's not in your hands.
Yeah. Yeah, that's... I guess I never thought about that with the runway show. Yeah, it certainly is more of just a visual presentation. You're sort of unable to get those like specs, the functionality of it. But it would be really cool to see activewear sort of make it into that space. So, like in Paris Fashion Week or something, like that would just be crazy. Like it'd be the frontier. I sort of like how Virgil brought, I guess you could say like a streetwear aesthetic to these high fashion houses. Activewear could eventually make it there, and I do feel like that's sort of the next frontier, in a weird way, as much as like there will be developments in every other way. Too, not just in this activewear thing, but I'm just saying it could totally be a part of the future. Do you know about like techwear too?
that I feel like that was more of a thing like a few years ago, like these super like you look like you're like an urban ninja like type things. I was never super into it.
I wear tech wear, but technically I don't know what that means. Yeah, no, I'm quoting. I'm quoting. I don't know. Yeah, people say tech wear, but do you really know what that even means?
Well, that's why I'm having a hard time describing.
What's techie about your outfit? Oh, I got gussets and shit for mountain climbing.
I have these like I have like 15 pockets. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I got 15 pockets. One for, I don't know. One for every pill I gotta take. I don't know. Like I don't know.
Sunday through Saturday. Yeah. No, I feel you. But yeah, just in general, I'm excited to see where things are going. I was curious about this, and when I was touring the fashion building the other day, I'm just giving you the backstory, but I talked to a student, Megan, who is also went the BA route, and she ended up going the BA route because the BFA route wouldn't it didn't work with what she was trying to do. What ended like I guess it made me realize like, oh, the BFA route doesn't always work for every idea. What like made you go the BA way?
Well, for those listening, BA is Bachelor of Arts, BFA is Bachelor of Fine Arts, and I don't know. The only difference is that BFA majors in the fashion design curriculum. They do a studied thesis program, and they study a certain idea or concept for the entire year, and then make a minimum, like I think it's like minimum six look collection out of that, and I don't know. I mean, like, I always looked. I mean, there's like a couple of reasons. One, it's like I never wanted to like be. I don't mean like it. I don't know. I never wanted to like have a professor like telling me, what to do, what not to do, and then like do all the muslin critiques. Like I can do that myself. I don't need to like have like the school involved with that. Mm-hmm. It's just like it's not corporate, but that corporate kind. It's like I don't need the man like telling me what to do. Yeah. Like I kind of like the feedback's great, and the professors, they know what they're talking about. But like I don't know. I was schooled for 3 years. Mm-hmm. Fourth year, I'm gonna do what I want to do, and that's the first thing. Second is like I'm like. There's like 4 guys in the fashion program, mm-hmm. and I know none of them do BFA. And not to say like I don't like class and with ladies. That's not what I'm saying. But it's just like I know for like what I was trying to say is that no one does menswear in this curriculum. Like basically no one. Nobody this year in the Kent curriculum did any menswear. It was all like 75% women's evening wear, mm-hmm. which I'm not opposed of. That's a whole industry there. But I knew the BFA route. If I did that, there'd be no one doing the type of industry that I'm trying to tap into. And it's hard when you're kind of alone. You don't really you can ask these people. I could ask my peers for feedback and help, but. I don't know. I feel like if they're not into it as much, I feel like they couldn't give me the best feedback. But, the BFA majors this year killed it, and they made quality stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I was never interested in the BFA thing. I don't know. Yeah. And I still did my own.
Yeah, it worked
thing.
out for you, man. Like it's one thing if like this is like you're saying all this and it didn't work out, but like it really you did great, and it like. You succeeded, so that is like the biggest flex in its own right. You did it your own way, and you succeeded doing it.
Yeah. I don't like to be all like I try to be a little humble about it and stuff, but I think it definitely did did blow some people away.
Yeah. It's like, oh, that's what Matt's been doing.
I kind of laugh. Yeah, we've been laughing about it for about a week now, but
yeah.
I like to stay quiet and then just kind of put the stuff out, and then
which is so hard. That's like the best way to do it.
I know, like
yeah, like coming out. I mean, I feel like that's such just like a habit of sort of like the Instagram social media age. Is just like, look at me, like constantly doing this. But then there's a whole nother way of doing it that works for people, some people, where it is like, I'm going to be a little bit more quiet for a little while and then pop out and really show what I've been working on, which is cool. I talked to Joey about social media on the last podcast, and it's just like, I'm so horrible at it, man. I don't like.
Yeah, I mean, like, what do you mean horrible at it?
As in, like, it really, like, I hate doing it, so I don't put any effort into it.
You feel like you have to?
I do feel like I have to.
Why?
Honestly, I have it sold. I've sold myself, or I've sold it to myself in my head that in order to succeed, I need to like figure this out a little bit.
Yeah, and that's why that's the bad thing about it. That's what I hate about this generation. It's like everyone, hey, I'm a big fan of Instagram, but I'm also low key. Sometimes I hate it sometimes, but it's a great tool. But yeah, that's just the generation we live in. It's like. Yeah, I feel like we all feel like we have to be on this platform. We have to be visible to everyone and accessible. And I don't think that's the case. But, I don't know. For some cases, it does help.
Yeah. It's interesting. There was somebody in the fashion industry that I follow on Twitter, Gems Museum.
Okay.
Somebody asked him that, like, do you need it? And he said, not necessarily. The industry roots will be like a lot more important. Like once you actually enter the industry, that the social media is sort of just a front to what's actually happening behind the scenes. And if you are plugged in behind the scenes without a front, you'll still be all right. So that sort of like
that's the case for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Like, do you know Cynthia Liu?
Yeah.
Who runs Cactus Plant Flea Market and. She's plugged. I think originally plugged up with Pharrell. She is the first person that comes to mind. There's probably not one picture. I mean, there's maybe like one or two pictures of her on Google, and the way she moves throughout the industry, the fashion industry, is attractive to me. And she stays very quiet, but she makes such an impactful movement. What she does and stuff.
Yeah, when I first found out of her...
social media and stuff, I don't know.
Yeah, like, when I first found out about her, it, like, really blew my mind that she was able to, like, accomplish all of this while maintaining it. But, like you're saying, it speaks to that sort of, like, behind-the-scenes sort of thing. Her stuff's really good. Like, Cactus Plant Flea Market, as much as, like, people criticize it for sort of, like, doing way too much merch for like a lot of people and like it being like some people just don't fuck with it, man. like the sort of aesthetic, and it's very simple in ways, but it's also very I think people don't make stuff have a hard time understanding that it's kind of like the conclusion that she arrived at in her design sort of like practice. It appears very simple, but I know like it was a process that took a while to arrive at, and it's really tasteful, in my opinion.
Yeah, super tasteful.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's funny how she does get a lot of hate, or not her personally. People don't know about her, which is kind of like
that's a benefit. I mean, people judge. The work.
Yeah, people are gonna judge all work, though. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. But she's she's great. Speaking about her, she's kind of in streetwear, and I've had like a weird relationship with the term streetwear because obviously like I still run my company, which is a streetwear company, and I started it when I was 16.
Which is what?
It's Oldpeople Brand.
Okay. I knew that, but I just forgot.
Yeah, you're good. But so
and I sort of like really started to hate it, like streetwear just in general as a whole, because it's just oversaturated.
So much.
Like just insanely, like I can't even believe it honestly anymore. And like when I started it wasn't quite that way yet. It was back in 2017, and so I've had a really weird relationship with it, but I've sort of and it really sucked because I always felt like I was like, you know, I was handprinting everything and like trying to like do real references and make real work, and then people will. And this was sort of a previous state of mind, but it was sort of based in jealousy, just seeing people like pop off out of nowhere when I'm out here like doing all this stuff. But
yeah, it's disgusting.
Yeah, it's hard, but I've gotten over it now, and I've sort of have like a new take on it. Which I was listening to one of Virgil's lectures the other day, and he said that streetwear makes sense when you like understand that it is a byproduct of the age of infinite information and kids having access to resources for the first time.
That's a good way to put it.
So that sort of like put a whole new lens on it. It's like, this makes sense now. It's not just like, this is where it comes from. And sort of put like an academic tinge on it for me. But I don't know. I've recently been a lot more interested in it, and like I'm planning on revamping the company throughout the summer to sort of like fit where I feel like I'm going, and just change things up and put it in that lens. But that was just a long explanation to say that I hated streetwear, and now I'm sort of I have a more optimistic view on it now. Where are you with like just streetwear? I guess it's such a broad term, but
It was a very broad term.
Yeah.
I mean, like you were saying about, like how you mentioned, just everyone now just has infinite access to whatever they want to an extent. I think I don't know. I feel like that's it's, I don't want to say damaging, but it has, I don't know, just effect on how people like think about the process and how they absorb information. I don't know, I don't know where I'm going with this, but just if I could just go off, like you think of like Frank Ocean, mm-hmm. and there's not much material, and there's not much back. No one really knows a lot about Frank Ocean. He's a big mystery, and that's very intriguing. I think people are so intrigued by mystery these days because there's so much accessible information. You just look someone up on Wikipedia, Google their name, look them up on Instagram, whatever, and you know everything about their life. And that's such a norm these days. And I think when firms or companies or people, are a mystery, it's very intriguing. People want to go back and they want to know more. They just want to feed off of it as much as they can because they can't get anything from it. And I think that's very attractive. In a sense, that's why I'm always looking at trying to find out what Frank's up to because I can't find out.
Yeah.
And now that I say this, kind of reminds me. That's kind of how I kind of want to move forward. And there's a lot of information about me and on social media and stuff, but hopefully I don't know. I kind of want to lay back a little because I like to be a little mysterious, a little. I don't know, in the future, maybe now, whatever, but
yeah.
I don't know, I just think that concept is, I don't know what I'm saying.
That's a derivative of the result of the infinite access to information is that the mysterious, elusive character is now like a commodity in a way, but not a commodity in like a cheap sense, but just like it's intriguing to a lot of people. I can totally relate. That's how I feel about Frank too. I mean, also he just makes like great music.
Oh yeah, of course. Of course.
He's a great artist, but that's I never like made that connection, but that also makes sense coming off of the infinite access
to information sort of space. And I think that as we move forward into the future, understanding how these like broad cultural movements, like the infinite access to information and resources, relatively, affects us, understanding that is how you can make predictions about the future to like better position yourself for things. That's sort of like the space I've recently like arrived in, is trying to like analyze things a little bit better and understand where I think things are heading based on like good predictions. I'm also like, I'm a philosophy student too. Whoa. So that's where I've been struggling, like less now, but like this semester, like how do I connect all of these things? Okay. And I think all art, like art is thought, philosophy is thought. They connect very well, but it's like not in a very immediate sense. It's more elusive. It's behind the scenes. So I'm like trying to pin all these together. But like just following these cultural things is really interesting to me. And seeing people are playing it well and understanding it, they're moving around so well. I don't know if like Frank is doing it on purpose, but somebody like Virgil Abloh definitely is. He understood at a very early point that was the case, and also was following postmodernism, which is just much about postmodernism.
I think I learned about that in my intro to philosophy class last semester. Don't ask me about it because I didn't pay attention much. But
yeah, no, you're good. And honestly, if you were in one of the courses that like did like a broad view at everything, it's hard to get much. Like you have to kind of dive into it. I'm only recently starting to study postmodernism and these more recent movements. But basically in the art world and in many worlds, it was like we can question the systems that make up our lives, and we can merge things. So like Virgil like knew that and was catching on to that movement, understood that high culture and low culture was merging and could be merged, and started like Pyrex, which then turned into Off-White because of that. Like that's the whole ethos behind Off-White, and it's just super crazy that he was able to acknowledge that early, and that's why he positioned himself so well now. So it's like what I'm saying now is just a long-winded way to say that this is like an interesting thing to be looking at.
Yeah, I mean, were you also mentioning the fact that Virgil tapped into the everlasting access?
Yes.
Yeah, he tapped into that damn well, but I think there are drawbacks to that because a figure like for example, like Virgil Abloh, I respect him, and I was still am a huge fan of him, but like he's like a meme now, and you see these posts and these funny memes of him sweating bald, and it's like it's like he's a meme now, and people joke about him and stuff, and like that has drawbacks, and not that he's probably not phased about him, but like he's in people's conversations now that are not about the artwork. It's just mainly about him and like his life and his appearance, how he looks, or whatever. And sometimes too, I always think about this. Overexposure, I think, is just bad for anything. It could be bad for firms, bad for companies, bad for people. Overexposure, especially nowadays when so much is accessible. Overexposure, it's not. I don't know. I just don't think it's good for the long run. Like when I was, I don't know, example. Like I was at this this panel talk in Long Beach, like years ago, where Ben Baller was there. Ben Baller makes all the jewelry, and he was talking about this microwave effect that he called it, and it was like, if you want to build something and that's everlasting, gonna last so long. I mean, so, you're in the microwave and like you want to throw some taquitos in the microwave, they're gonna come out like shit. They're you can roast them up in 30 seconds, and you can eat them, and you'll get the calories, but they're going to taste like shit. They're going to be soggy and wet. Or you can oven bake them for 12 and a half minutes to the dot until they're golden brown and nice and crunchy, and then they're amazing. And, he took that example. It's like, if you want to build something and you want to try and get this bread so quick, and you can do that, and you'll get the bread, if you do it right. But, it's not going to last. You think, it's gonna go high and go low very quickly versus, you build something slowly for years and years, and maybe you show your face here and there, and you build a reputable, respectable, image brand, whatever. I think that's everlasting. Not to say that these figures like Virgil, etc. Haven't made a lasting impact, respectable impact, but what I'm saying, I think it's true. And when I'm quoting from Ben Baller, I think it's very true.
Yeah, that's something I haven't thought about too much, but it makes total sense. I mean, it's almost like, and I don't know if this would. First of all, it's really hard to, or I'd imagine is, I've never had like the spotlight on me like that, but I'm sure it'd be difficult. Let's say like you all of a sudden are like extremely famous and the spotlight's on you, every magazine's coming for you. It's hard to maintain that weight for, let's say, a year. But if you're maintaining that for like 5 or 10 years, you're at that peak exposure. I mean, first of all, that would just cripple you. I mean, that would just make it extremely difficult to move forward all the way, and maybe you'd get good at managing it, but at some point I feel like you'd crack. Even and that's just a personal thing, not even like how other people perceive you. But yeah.
I don't know how Ye does it.
Well,
honestly, I mean, he's had downfalls, mentally, but he's in the public eye all the time. People all over him.
Yeah.
I mean, and when he was married, especially, to that family. I don't know how he does it, but, and he's still making headlines and selling out billion-dollar company stuff. He's still going, but...
Yeah. The stuff he's working on right now with, like, a lot of that, like... it's loose in my memory, but on his, like, estate in Wyoming is really interesting with, like, the homeless shelters and the school for the kids. His design theory is just like really it's interesting, and the people who write him off, I just don't think understand. I just don't think I think that they're just not looking, to be honest.
Yeah, they don't understand. They don't understand.
Yeah, he's a. I really got into him like 2 or 3 years ago, and I was listening to like Yeezus especially like mad. Do you have like a favorite Kanye album?
I mean, I wasn't a fan until Life of Pablo came out. Mm-hmm. So that's like my, growing up album with him. But everything he's put out until I become a fan, like TLOP was great, Ye was great, Kids See Ghosts, Jesus is King. All those albums were just, I think, equally fantastic. I probably couldn't have a favorite.
Yeah.
But like, that's the thing. He's like one of the Renaissance men now. He's up there with like Elon Musk and like Quentin Tarantino and the big wigs. They're all equal status, and music is just, I mean, that's what he's famous for. Mostly that's his ground roots, but even before, he went to art school and he painted and stuff like that. So I don't know, there's just so much more about Ye that I'm a fan of personally.
Yeah.
Especially these days, ever since he's doing other works other than music, and I don't know, I'm a super fan. But.
Yeah, it's really interesting, and yeah, I just could not imagine having all that weight with the spotlight on you for so long, and it definitely has had some effects on him, but still to be able to he still performs at a high level. What are some other like Renaissance men that or women, just people that you see throughout culture? I remember my friend Levi DeYoung, who I'd like to have on the podcast if you're listening. I'm gonna hit you up soon. But he, like 2 or 3 years ago, he was telling me we're in this new Renaissance. Like, you got to understand it. It's a cultural movement. And he had some figures I can't remember. But do you feel like there's any other big figures like that?
I do agree with this Levi guy that, you know, we are in, you know, a Renaissance time, and I don't even think people know it or know what's ahead. I don't know, Renaissance. I mean, when you think of Renaissance, I mean, who is the original Renaissance guy? Was Leonardo da Vinci, I think, right?
I can't recall.
Oh, no. I mean, the Renaissance, that was just the time. There's so much evolving in that, like, the 16th century. Yeah. So, okay, well, Renaissance man, I mean, the first figure I think of is Da Vinci, but I don't know. In nowadays, like the three I just mentioned a minute ago.
Hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard to pull up names on the spot.
I know. Yeah, it's hard.
I feel you.
I'm trying to think. I don't know.
It's just an interesting time, and when you start looking at it through that lens, like what we're a part of feels a lot more like something worth pursuing. I think that for some people that's a little bit of a struggle in fashion, or just any of the arts. They can start to feel like they're not, what they're doing is unimportant or isn't a part of some bigger movement. But I think it's always relevant. But unfortunately, a lot of those people don't stay around. Segue a little bit. How do you feel? And I want to talk to you because you're at an interesting point where you're about to graduate. How do you feel about the Kent Fashion School as a whole? You've had 4 years here.
Yeah. Great times. You know, some bad times. The yellow sweatshirts and I don't know, just the tedious classes that I just don't get or understand why I'm taking sometimes. But yeah, overall, yeah, great. I think college experience is cool. Not for everyone. I definitely agree. You don't need to go to college these days to be successful. You know, my buddy Aaron Torres and I. Shout out awesome. Ismail and Froey. Yeah, my buddy Aaron and I talk about it countlessly. Like, especially, I don't know, some degrees you really don't need a college degree. If you find a mentor at an early age, somehow you get plugged up, man. That's just important. You save thousands of dollars. But I don't know. My college experience was fantastic. I met so many people, networked a bunch, which is very important. I think if you just stay in your dorm and sleep in and don't get involved, that's just, you're wasting your experience. You know, college, it's a city of people like you who have all different tastes all around you all the time. And there's no mother or father figure to tell you, be home at 8 o'clock, or don't eat that, you know, dollar dogs at Sheetz or whatever. You know, you could just do whatever you want, and it's very freeing and euphoric, especially when you start. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, like freshman and sophomore year, that was like the greatest 2 years ever. Very freeing, and it was, it was great. But yeah, I mean, the fashion, like Kent Fashion School in general, I definitely thought it went by super slow, especially like my freshman year. I was like, why am I still in sewing class? I could already do this. I was getting the A's and stuff. I mean, like, you know, freshman year was an introductory class. All we did was like learn how to, you know, the basics of drawing. You know, I didn't really know how to draw, so that was cool. But like, I thought all went by very slow, and I would always like ask my friends, "Is like, can we like progress more? Let's like I want to." I think I went up to like the dean of the fashion school one time. I was like, can we like do some more? I don't know, like if you go into the curriculum, like, I mean, like I did, like I knew how to sew. I was already like doing a bunch of shit before I went to school, which is why I started in the first place. I think it's kind of mundane in the beginning, but I definitely think you can. You know what it is? It's all these fucking core classes. That's what it is. Why am I learning algebra plus in freshman year with Dr. Ding? And, why am I doing this? Why am I in algebra right now? I did that shit for like 8 years. I don't want to be doing this shit. Some core classes are cool. Astronomy is dope. I love space, and like I had physics, which is super cool. But like I don't even know, man. So these core classes just piss me off, and I think those can be filled with courses that you are paying for, or you could be paying for, and I definitely think we could have. I could have, you could have, and the rest of the class could have learned a lot more if these core classes. I don't know why core classes are just a thing.
Yeah, I can understand like some humanities core classes or like science core classes, but maybe I'm just not.
Some are great.
Yeah,
some are great.
Yeah, like I do feel like I'm biased with being a philosophy student, but I do feel like some of that's really important. But as far as like, dude, I'm gonna have to take core classes at like my local community college because it doesn't fit in my schedule. So I'm gonna have to pay extra to go and like take some like algebra this
it's messed up
this summer. So that is a pain. It is what it is. I roll with it. But
yeah. Whatever,
But were there any? And I definitely feel you with the fundamentals right now. Freshman year, man, it was getting a little bit slow, and I recently like really rekindled my interest in fashion after like I started reading more, just because I was getting a little bit bored with the fundamentals. I don't know, like there's no other way to put it. Did you feel like when you studied abroad your junior year, things got a lot more interesting?
Oh, yeah.
I'm really looking forward to that. I'm planning on doing the full year as well.
Yeah, do it. You should. I mean, like, in my experience, because of COVID, I wish like I spent a little bit more time on campus, but that's only because of COVID. But yeah, man, you leave Kent for a year. I think it's totally needed. Because like when you finally get out of this Midwestern cornfield, it's fantastic, and especially if you're traveling with your buddies. Luckily, I got lucky where my best friends I met day one are still my best friends. We all went abroad together, so that I think that was a hay in the needle stack. But yeah, man, go. I think I always encourage people, just if you have the money, go out of state, or if you have even more money, get that ticket to Morocco, get that ticket to Paris or whatever, and just go, because you'll come back a new person. Yeah. And even if you're out there for a week, or like if you're studying abroad for 4 months, you'll come back you'll come back a different person. Yeah. And you'll have a totally different insight on the industry that you're in, totally different insight on how to interact with people, how people think, and totally different insight on how you respect people in different religions and different upbringings. And I just think you come back with a different respect on everything. Yeah, it's super exciting. That was actually one of the reasons I came to Kent. Yeah, are you going to go to Florence? I'm planning on it. Yeah, okay. I'm planning on doing New York and Florence, and doing my internship in New York while I'm there. Yeah. Do that. Mm-hmm. I did that, but kind of like the opposite. Yeah, like fall, spring, or whatever. Yeah, I got you. It should be a lot of fun. I visited Florence when I was like 15, and it was it's probably my favorite place I've ever visited. Oh, so, that's cool. Yeah, it was really. I don't even remember. It's been a little while, like 4 years, but
I don't remember exactly the reasons I thought it was so interesting, but I just
yeah, it's beautiful. Not much of a fashion scene there. That's the only thing I didn't like about Florence, though. Is like everywhere else you go to, with the Kent program, you go to Milan and Paris, and you're like, why am I in Florence? There's so much of a scene here, but not much of a scene in Florence, but still beautiful, and the professors are great and stuff. So I totally encourage it tenfold. But
yeah, how'd you feel about the New York studio?
I can tell you off camera about the professors, but yeah, I don't know. I didn't really feel very motivated in the studio, but it's all in New York. There's 8 million people in that city. It's all about what you do outside of the classroom. Networking in that city, that's where you go to network. And within the 2 months that we were there, like, my buddy Gabe, Scott, and Aaron and I, we met like a dozen people, we met so many people there. We go to the events that you hear about, sneak into the fashion shows and stuff. Like, I don't know, like we went to this like this party in, or my buddies went to this party at opening ceremony, and then they met people, and then like, during Fashion Week especially, like we all went to this Aimé Leon Dior gallery, and we, Aaron and I met Reese Cooper there. Reese Cooper?
Yeah.
We met him and we talked to him, and just those little instances, they can only benefit you and, make friendships and stuff. And then, Gabe and I, we went to this Helmut Lang, and he got invited to this Helmut Lang, like, gallery event through his photography networking. And he went there. He thought it was super lame. So, as I, we both went there together. I tried to get in with my suave, smooth moves, but they weren't buying it. So they said, beat it. So I was walking on the subway, and he's calling me. He's like, dude, this is fucking lame. You want to just walk around? I was like, yeah. So we walked around, and we got some chicken, and we were walking around with I was walking around with my chicken legs, and then, we stumbled upon this low-key on the outside but high-key on the inside fashion show by this like really fancy, what was the label? God damn. I don't know, this women's evening wear label. I don't know, but we were just standing outside of there, like, eating our chicken. We always joke about this when we're going to be, like, famous. I don't know, in the future we'll talk about this, but, like, I don't know. I'm pretty sure I'm in the back of some photo eating a chicken with Anna Wintour.
Really?
Or something.
What?
I swear to God. Yeah, and this is, like, all the people were showing up, and I was talking to people as they were coming in, and, like, we were always joking about that, but like, and we went up. We were nobody. We're pond scum to everyone else.
Yeah.
And we went up in there and we were asking, can we just like stay in here and check it out? And like security guards were like eyeing us up because we probably looked sketchy, but and we stayed there and we watched the show, and it was fun. But experiences like that, just go do it in New York and act like you're supposed to be there with chicken and
chicken next to Anna Wintour.
I gotta find that photo. That's somewhere on Buzz, or what's that, Getty Images. There's somewhere on there,
dude. I need to get my hands on that. That sounds incredible. That's a hell of a photo there. Yeah. She's notorious. God.
Yeah, I know. It's funny.
Yeah, she's been taking some heat lately, though.
Maybe has she?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't keep up with it. But no, that's sweet. And that's like so foreign to like anything that I know. I'm from Iowa, and I'm here in Ohio, which is like a bigger state than Iowa. More's going on here, but then New York is like the idea of like just popping into shows and like random things happening.
You just gotta try.
Yeah,
you just gotta try. Wear the suit and tie, or wear the janitor's outfit and say, I'm supposed to clean up this mess, and just stay there.
Walk in with the orange vest,
You've done
that?
I've done that, bro. Dude, Yeah, dude. Freshman. Okay, well, just to test that, my buddy Zach and I, we wore ties and ID badges and clipboards and went up to dorm rooms saying we were pest and rodent investigators, and we would tell people that there's like a wild rodent investigation on this floor, and we would like just fuck around with people, and the people would like let us come in and like quarantine their dorms. I don't know, it was really funny, but, like stuff like that. I don't know. You could literally get anywhere with a tie or like a cover, like a dirty coveralls. I've tried it before. You could literally get anywhere.
It works.
It works. I swear.
Or if you can get your hands on one of those yellow security outfits.
Oh damn! Yeah, no one's gonna question you if you're in a tie with a clipboard, a custodian outfit, or if you have a ladder.
A ladder. The ladder's the key. It's not like a hammer. You might just be walking around.
Nobody's gonna question anything.
God, it's the best.
Yeah, you could acquire nuclear launch codes with a ladder.
Easy. I mean, no problem. You'd be no presidential campaigns ever tried it. That's next, dude. That's next for politicians. They're appealing to the working class with the ladder.
Whoa.
They're going in. What was it? So coming back here, life's changed, man. You spent a year abroad. Where are you when you came back? Like, what was running through your head? I feel like you said, it's like a transformative experience.
Yeah. It's not like I, turned into like the ogre.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, I definitely had a different insight. I mean, I've traveled overseas before that, but not for that long.
Yeah.
Definitely got homesick a little. We kind of. I didn't really come back against my will. We kind of got sent back, because of COVID. But, it happened, and then I stayed home for a little while.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I forgot you came back during COVID. Did that influence where things were going? Like, did you have a different idea in your head of what you were going to do for your, I don't know, just during your senior year, and it changed throughout that time?
Yeah. Do you mind if we take a break? I gotta piss.
Oh, yeah, no problem. I can pause it.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. I'll pause right now. All right, we're back recording. I was asking about, so you came back from traveling. You ended up in quarantine, like everybody else. Did that like have any influence on where you are now or where you were just in general? I mean, it had an influence, I guess, in an immediate sense on everybody, but were there any big developments out of that?
No, man. I went home, I bought a mini bike, and I just rode that, and for like 4 months and did nothing. I just rode my mini bike, and I just didn't get any chicks, and I was just like super lonely, and only hanging out with family and like hometown buddies, and I was really itching to get back to college and meet some fun ladies and start designing again. That's why I love my family, I love my hometown buddies, but I'm so unproductive there and such a bum. Mm-hmm. Like all I do is just like sit around and just like smoke weed with my buddies, and like that's just so lame to me. So super unproductive there. So I don't really like to be there a whole lot. I like to at least come back to Kent where like don't I have a little bit straighter head there, and I could do productive stuff.
Yeah, I feel you. I was sort of, I think it was different because I wasn't in college, but being in high school and getting done, I think everybody just for like a few months was just not, or maybe just like a month or however long it was just like not getting a lot done. And I remember I was like for a solid month like staying up till like 3 or 4 a.m. every day, like just I would actually like I had a really weird routine because I do like schoolwork, and then I would just I don't know, like not make clothes. I felt really weird about like running a business during that time. So it sort of felt like super not cool to be like, hey, the world's
Yeah, for sure.
Falling apart, buy my stuff.
Yeah, there's that, especially the George Floyd movement. Like,
oh yeah,
you really, I think it was totally acceptable just for everyone to just like chill out and just like be aware of the Black Lives Matter movement, be aware of this virus movement. Even if you don't care, just chill out.
Yeah, just chill out a little bit. Yeah, it felt really wrong for like a second there, which I think, just. It's going to be crazy to look back on it, man. It's going to be so crazy. Or maybe, I don't want to say this, but maybe we just never will look back on it. And there's like journalists writing things like, oh, COVID's going to be a thing forever. I really hope not. And I would fight back against that.
People are saying, but I see people all over Twitter, who's going to wear masks like after the COVID? Me, like, okay, bro, go ahead.
It's like,
I'm cool. Yeah. I want to see people's like faces.
Yeah, like
I want to breathe.
Yeah, breathe.
But like, I don't know.
Yeah, like interact with people like normal. There's really something to seeing people's faces and like their expressions, and I mean that's a big part of our society. So much like we evolved to be able to read the expressions people are giving us from their face. And
yeah, no, I could see people not like even wanting to like think about 2020 again because that was just everyone's worst year of their life.
Yeah.
So I could see that, but I don't think we'll be. I mean, people are already over COVID. I don't think people even want to hear that word ever again.
Yeah.
You know. I mean, in my opinion, I think it was a little politically run.
Oh, certainly, dude.
I mean, after the whole Trump incident got eradicated and Biden came into office, honestly, I didn't really see as much headlines for COVID as much as there were. Like, it was almost immediate. Yeah. And, I think aside from the political stuff, people are just over it. I mean, everyone's getting vaccinated now, thankfully, but I think people just want to go outside.
Yeah, and wear outside, green. Like see each other again, go to like a concert.
Yeah.
Yeah. I miss concerts. I'm supposed to. Do you know Eve's Tumor?
No.
Or it might be Eve's Tumor. I've never had it like corrected or like talked to somebody who did correct me, but he's just a really interesting artist who's supposed to perform in Cleveland, and I think he was like released probably the best project of last year. It's called Heaven to a Tortured Mind. I don't even know how to describe his genre. I'll share it with you after.
Okay.
I don't know what type of music are you into. I don't know if it's something you'd be.
All types. I don't know. I love listening to like just all types of music. Hip hop and rap and jazz, French jazz. I'm super into these days, and classical stuff. Like Chopin and Beethoven and
weirdly I've been
just
into
like the
lately.
weird waltz stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And there's all kinds. I just love sound, and I think music is the biggest inspiration for me. Like music inspired that video I just made. Music kind of inspired maybe the clothing that I've been into, and I don't know, it inspires me for everything. So I think it's important, especially for like creatives, to listen to all types of music.
Yeah.
It kind of like low-key pisses me off when, it's like you hand the aux cord to someone in the car and they immediately play like Lil Uzi or like something. It's like, dude, is that all you got?
Yeah, there's a lot more.
It's like, bro.
Lil Uzi recently hasn't been too interesting, to say the least. I've been weirdly into like classical music lately from listening to it while doing homework.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah,
it's beautiful.
And the more time I spend with it, like the more time I can appreciate it, which is true of a lot of art forms. But that, and you mentioned French jazz. Do you know Cortex?
Yo, yes,
Yeah.
I fucking love Cortex, bro.
Amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, Cortex is dope. I don't know. I mean, yeah. Do you? Yeah. They're on the more of the vintage time frame. Yeah, specifically Cortex and this girl Emile Claire Barlau. Barlow. I don't know. She's more modern, but yeah, Cortex is dope.
Yeah.
That's funny you say that. But yeah, the classical shit, I mean, I know people love to listen to that when they're studying or going to bed, like my buddy Swoy, Olivia White. She says she goes to bed and listens to that shit, which is cool. And I don't know, I play the piano, so I always there's kind of like that music sense.
Yeah.
Where you hear it and you have like a third sense of it. But yeah, it's cool.
I feel like you'd be able to like really appreciate it playing the piano like that. I played the violin for 8 years, but it hasn't stuck with me as much. I did it when I was really young.
Good tea.
Yeah. Do you like it?
Yeah. I'm gonna drink this cup.
Good. The caffeine's nice. I'm like just for conversation, but as far as there's this also like I wonder if you'd be into it. There's this Japanese musician. Spotify is like hitting me up, like has like great picks like off of their algorithm for me. Do you use Spotify?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like they have this section called album picks, and I always find like 3 things out of there that I'm like super interested in. This is from like 1972. It's like Rio. I'm gonna mispronounce it. It's like Fuki, probably Fukui, and I've been listening to this album called Scenery.
What's the cover?
It's a half-toned. It's like a dot face, and it's red.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's an amazing album.
And yeah, I mean, that's all over the YouTube recommended.
Really?
Shit for me. Yeah, it's like Japanese or like Asian jazz or something.
Yeah, he's Japanese.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever listened to the album, but I know I may have listened to a couple tracks.
Yeah.
But that's funny. I know you're talking about.
Yeah, that's an obscure album to know. Yeah, the crossover right now is crazy. But I've been listening to that so damn much. It's really good, and I like reading up on it because it's such a good album that I don't know, but anybody who listens to it has like apparently really. And I'm not an expert on jazz. It's only something I've recently started to explore, but people saying that he has like a really simplistic, like typical jazz sound, but he plays it with like such a vigor that it makes it like really purposeful, I guess. I don't know, and really good. It's just interesting. But yeah, definitely listen to that. You need to share that other French musician with me. And then I also got Eve's Tumor for you.
Eve's Tumor. Okay. Yeah. Okay, for sure.
Yeah. We need to exchange some stuff. That's good to know.
For sure. Yeah, I've speaking of like, I don't know, background music, there's this record label that puts out. Okay, this is like the 1970s, but I have a few copies of their albums. This record label puts out these records called Environments, and they're just ambient. You know, every record is a different ambient sound. There's like one sound on each side, and like one is like, I don't know. For example, I have one that's rainy thunderstorm, and the other one's like gentle rain in a pine forest, and like that shit I love listening to, especially like going to bed. It's just, I don't know.
Yeah, there's an album that reminds me of like a similar concept called Green by somebody named these Japanese guys. It's hard for me to remember and pronounce their names. It's like it might be Hiroshima something, but that it reminds me. Similar concept, has a really like it's a feeling of nature, and it's ambient music. Ambient. Trying to think of some ambient albums that I'm really into. Do you have any specific ones that you like a lot other than those ones?
No, I mean, I don't know if you know Ginseng. That's like music produces like lo-fi kind of ambient things. But no, I couldn't name any artists.
Yeah.
Or musicians who'd kind of do that. No.
Yeah, I feel you. I don't. Yeah, it feels like it's just me and my roommate who like talk about this type of music, so it's cool knowing that you're into. I'm gonna be hitting you with stuff. It'd be nice if you hit me with some recommendations. But you're saying it like influences the design practice. How do you feel like that those connections are made?
I don't like. It's I don't know. Mainly when I say design, like music influences design practice, I'm talking about like filmmaking, specifically, because audio and video go so hand in hand. It's mainly filmmaking because I'm getting more into storytelling with film. I've been making these little fashion. I've been making these like storyline videos, which the understory is the fashion and the fashion in it, but the main point of the video is the story of it. And I've been making this since high school, and this collection Runway film that I just did, like the inspiration from that was the song. I don't know how I came up with it. It's just high in bed one night and I thought of it, and I drew it out, but I like to, I don't know, storytelling is something that I just find very intriguing, and I haven't told anybody about this really. I'm working on this, like, I call it a movie because it's more than a film. I think it's more, it's a short film, but I call it a movie because we're treating it like a movie. And I haven't really told anyone about this because I can't wait to just put it out and just kind of blow everyone's minds again. But this movie that is directed by myself and storyline and scripted by me, and Gabe is shooting and editing it. It's this 4-part film that has these non-correlating storylines, and it's going to be edited in a very abstract way. Not abstract, but I don't know. It'll be a different watch for sure. But like this film we're making, it has nothing to do with fashion. It's just all about telling these stories of these 4 different people in these separate worlds, and like yesterday I just finished shooting some scenes with this actress that I hired, and that's going on. So that's my next big project I'm working on. I'm going to put that out in like late May.
Sweet.
Yeah.
It's hyphenated, the right word here. Hyphenated artist. Hope I'm saying that right. You're doing it. You're engaging in all of the disciplines. That's really interesting.
Yeah, attempting. Yeah. I just like to have fun and dabble a little here and there.
Yeah, who doesn't? That's that's the intriguing stuff, right? If you're just sticking around everything that you know all the time, it's not purposeful or meaningful. It can get a little stale, and then it can let you go back with like a new perspective and try things out. Narratives can also be really interesting in fashion and just how you weave them into the clothes. I'm trying to. Again, it's hard to pull names off the top of my head, but you can make references to movies. You can make references to things. You can have specific characters. I just think that the field is so open to explore like a sort of storytelling approach to things, and so much of art is storytelling. Really, it's you go to the Cleveland Art Museum, you'll see pieces about these figures, which evokes like a story of sorts, and following it through and seeing how that story, even though it's nonverbal, like impacts you, can be really cool.
Yeah, I think I just think film is like the most impactful form of. Well, that's a broad statement, but to the most part, I think film is like the most impactful form of art. I think there is, because I don't know, it combines all elements of storytelling, visuals, audio, sounds. The only thing you don't get is physicality, but that's okay. But I don't know. Yeah, there's something about the emotion that actors and actresses can bring to make the viewer experience something. I think that's very intriguing, and I'm trying it out myself, like I just mentioned previously.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a hell of a foray, like going into film. I always those are hard to make. They're big budget.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be big budget. There are many examples that, you can do a lot with a little, but eventually, there's a lot that goes into filming that then people might not really think of.
Yeah.
And a lot of backup and a lot of setup work.
I feel like that's what makes it, to me, such an intimidating thing to explore art form, because dude, you gotta arrange a lot of people to see your vision and have the actresses, the actors properly convey the emotions and evoke it. But because it's so difficult, like you said, it can be so meaningful and really move the audience, which makes it intriguing.
Yeah, for this film, I'm projecting. Me personally, I'm going to be working on it and have total hours invested in it is probably going to be 80 to 100 hours for a 3-minute movie.
Yeah,
and I don't know.
That's a serious amount of work for a 3-minute movie.
But it's worth it. The outcome is beautiful.
Yeah. If you're just working with the right team, like you said, it seems like you and Gabe you work really well together, so that'll help. And it'll let you both be a part of something bigger. But it helps you're working with somebody who gets you. Because that can be
it's hard to find someone. Go on.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm going to say. It's really hard to find a partner who can just sort of read you. And when I've done collaborations in the past, that's what makes it so difficult. Is I need them to see what I'm conveying, and I need to understand what they're conveying. And it's difficult to make work.
Yeah, collaborating is difficult because I don't know. I feel I don't know. I learned this in my what was that? Intro to conflict management. And there's a difference between collaboration and accommodation, and I forget the opposite of accommodation, but it's being selfish. But I don't know. It's difficult to collaborate because you have to give a little bit more than you want to receive, and sometimes that could be a little tedious.
Yeah, for sure. Do you have any films that you like a lot? I've been out of my friends, I probably watched the least movies, or the least amount of films, the least amount of movies. I have a letterbox, so do you use that app?
No.
It's just a way that you can mark all of the movies that you're reading, or not reading, viewing, and your friends can see it. You can write reviews, and it's cool. You can see what your friends rated movies. It just gives you stuff to see what to watch next. You have a watch list. I don't know, it's a really cool app.
Right.
If you're into film, it's awesome. But I've been watching some stuff. Joey and I have been trying to figure out, or to finish watching all of Hayao Miyazaki's films. Do you know?
I don't think so.
It's Spirited Away. Have you seen those?
I've heard of that. I've heard of that. Just haven't. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I would recommend checking it out for sure. But do you have any movies that you like a lot?
Recently, I say in the past year, I would say Deliverance, starring Burt Reynolds. It was made in the early 70s. Deliverance is fantastic. Hereditary was definitely a watch. I'm not gonna say it was it was a fantastic movie, but it was definitely a little confusing. Hereditary is just beautifully made, though. And what's that one? The Korean director who made
Parasite.
Parasite. God, that was one of the best movies I've seen.
Yeah. No, it's it was
that twist midway through, man. That I wet my pants.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess I don't want to spoil anything, because I've listened to podcasts that had things spoiled, but definitely watch that movie if you haven't. Yeah, I watched that during quarantine, and it was one of those movies that you just get done watching it, and you're like, that was a really damn good movie.
Yeah, I know. I had to watch it again.
And it's like it was almost like perfect. I feel like on that first watch, it was like especially perfect, which is like hard to.
It has all. I mean, that movie has all the elements I think of a great movie: cinematography, acting, and just the quirkiness, the humor, the seriousness, drama, thrilling, comedy. It has all these pinpoints, and like it goes so much in depth, and the storyline is fantastic, dialogue. I just think that's a definition of like masterpiece movie.
For real, yeah, I feel the same way. Did you watch? You said Hereditary. Did you watch Midsummer?
Fuck that movie. My friends and I always joke about that. Fuck that movie. I tried to watch that like a year ago. I got like 10 minutes in. I actually almost passed out because like I don't fuck with like Black Mirror shit. I don't fuck with Midsummer shit. Like I'll watch Pulp Fiction, like Tarantino shit. Like that's really violent, but that's a different kind of violent. Mm-hmm. Like that, it's a kind of like humor violent almost.
It's just absurd. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like,
like over that, but like Midsummer, bro. That when they were something about like. They were like dropping a rock on someone's head. Like that's not even like cool. That was just fucked up.
Just straight up disturbing.
Yeah, I had to like tell my buddies like, I'm going to the bathroom. I'm gonna go talk to someone. Like, I tell them turn it off. And there was like some episodes of Black Mirror. I don't know. Like there's this one episode of Black Mirror where this dude had like this like emotion helmet that he made, and like he put it on this girl that he's having sex with to like feel her like pleasure, and so he could feel double. And I was like, bro, this is overwhelming. I don't want to watch this.
Yeah,
like shit like that. I don't know, shit like that. I gotta just turn it off.
That are really like just pushing that disturbing edge, and
you know
that they know that like the creators know that they're doing that. Which makes it even a little bit more. Like damn you! Like it's like God. It's
fine. Yeah, I mean,
you didn't need to.
I'm a big. I love film, but I don't know, shit like that. Not for me.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
I feel you. I watched that with my my dad actually, and he was like, I didn't know what I was getting into, dude. So I'm just like, it's like one afternoon, like 2 or something, and it's making this noise again. I don't know if I'm gonna turn it off. Oh, perfect. But it was like 2 PM, and he's like, "Hey, you want to go watch this movie?" And I'm like, "Sure." And then on the way there, I'm like, "What movie?" It's just something by this actor, or not this actor, this director that I like. And I was like, "Cool." I had no idea what I was getting into, dude. And then it's that, and it was like, "Holy shit, this is just crazy."
Yeah,
and I had no idea what I was getting into. I'm watching it with my dad in the movie theater. It was like,
the theater.
Yeah, it was a hell of an experience.
Who directed that?
Ari Aster.
Didn't he do some other famous project?
He did Hereditary.
Oh, okay, that's the one.
That's the one. I think he actually is like working on a new one. He's good. He's damn good. I mean, he's disturbing, but like, it's good. It's good stuff. Weirdly enough, Online Ceramics.
That's an apparel brand, right?
Yeah, one of the brands who like created, it's sort of like from like the Grateful Dead. Sort of aesthetic, but they were sort of the spawn of that trend that we're seeing now. I don't know if you've seen it.
Oh, what trend?
It's just like this sort of. It's hard to even describe the aesthetic except for like Grateful Dead, psychedelic type shirts with this like, I don't know, but
I could see very like graphic heavy,
very
type
graphic
shit.
heavy,
Okay,
extremely and complicated screen prints with like tie dyes. Like it's
yeah.
They were the first to sort of bring that back into this new space, and I really like them. It's all like hand screen printed, blah blah blah. But
cool.
They did merch for both of those movies. It's just like cool to see like the crossover between like such a good like Online Ceramics really was on the forefront, and they'll still are. People are just sort of like appropriating them, but it was cool to like 2 years ago see that they were making merch for these like crazy movies.
Yeah, that's cool. I love the brand name.
Yeah,
it's like an oxymoron kind of, because like ceramics, I feel like it's such like a physical item that you make, and then like online.
Yeah,
I just love that brand name.
For real, that is a good brand name. Other brand name I like is Cactus Plant Flea Market, which we mentioned earlier. Mm-hmm. It's hard to get a good brand name, man. That's difficult. I saw that you titled your collection. I can't again, I can't recall exactly what it was. But
Novus.
Novus?
Yeah, Novus.
What made you go that way?
Well, Novus is Latin for new or beginning. And I named it that because it's like the beginning of, I don't know, I consider this project kind of like the beginning of my career.
Mm-hmm.
So, and adding a little exotic twist on it, a little bilingual twist to the name. It sounds attractive, looks attractive on paper. So I just decided to name it that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I thought it was good. I know that those questions can be a little bit. I get asked like, old people, man, why'd you name it old people so much? When I just talk to them, and I get a little bored of the question, just because I feel like it even like changes throughout time. Weirdly, like I adapt to the brand's name. The brand's name influences the art style. Blah blah blah. But it was really just a simple reason. In the beginning, it was like I was like 16, and Oldpeoplebrand was kind of funny. It's ironic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Names though, it's hard to do. It's hard to do right.
I think for sure it's hard to do, and trying to get something that sticks in people's heads is difficult.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sticks in people's heads, long lasting, isn't going to burn out immediately.
Yeah, I'm kind of learning this in marketing now. Just about brand. There's a lot that goes into it. Couldn't tell you because I haven't been paying the utmost attention with these online classes, but we're learning that now. But
yeah, marketing's a whole interesting concept. I have like mixed feelings about business education. I think that there's real skill in creating businesses and building it. I spent a lot of time throughout my high school years, actually all 3 years pretty much my high school's 3 years. It's 10th through 12th. It wasn't 9th grade. It was in junior high.
Oh, okay.
But I spent those years I was a part of like the entrepreneurship program at the local college, the University of Northern Iowa. So I spent a lot of time around like business majors and people doing it. And I always felt like a lot of the knowledge came from just like actually trying to start something for yourself. And not as much from what they were learning in the classroom, doing their case studies, blah blah blah. So I in lieu of that, I just always had this weird feeling of the best way to learn about business is to start a little thing yourself and learn it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, experience is the name of the game. You can't start something like that without experience. And I think like 80% of starting a business is, let me rephrase, 20% of learning about business is about the classroom and what you learn about that, in the classroom. But 80% of it is learning how you make connections, learning yourself about financial organization, and how to organize your assets and communicate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's where the educational stuff comes into play, and but it was a unique experience. Do you have any like ideas of? Have you like had things for sale and with your designs in the past? Or is this the first time that because we should say that right now you can go buy, or I hope by the time this comes out, this should be out within 2 weeks. Do you know when you're closing that? I should ask.
No.
Okay.
Maybe soon, because I've been getting a lot of orders and it's becoming a little overwhelming.
It's like, holy shit, I might need to
I need to close shop.
This.
Yeah.
Okay, but while we're talking,
MattWelsh.design.
Yeah, check it out.
Wink.
But
no, yeah. Like I've done a lot of projects, apparel projects where I've released product for sale, and I definitely would not get a lot of orders. I would just do it because I just like doing it. If people want to buy it, people do. This is like the first actual release I've ever had where I'm actually getting like the expected amount of orders that is expected amount of orders that's you know, I can kind of expect and I'm happy with.
Yeah.
So, you know, I've done projects like that before, but I haven't gotten a lot of sales, you know, in these little projects, these little unprofessional stuff I do. But with this one, especially because I've, you know, especially thanks to social media, I've been getting a lot of buzz, you know, with like the High Snob thing and, I don't know, just a bunch of like people shouting me out. And I think people picking up on this trend.
Yeah. That was really cool to see. Like, you, throughout the week, you reposting all of these people mentioning your stuff. I was like, holy shit, this is awesome.
Yeah, it kind of took off. It's cool. It's just what a few posts can do to generate sales and things. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it was that. I mean, that's just what you want. Like, that's the ideal thing. It happened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm, you know, if I didn't really sell a lot, you know, I would be. I just did it because I love to do it. But you know, I'm super grateful that, you know, people in Japan and Germany and the UK are ordering my things now, and you know, now my product gets to go like worldwide, which is super cool. You know,
that's way sick. And you're doing custom. So are you tailoring to like the people who order their size and fitting to them?
Not for these like smaller scalable products like the bags. Pretty much only people have purchased these pod bags that I've made, with the exception of some people ordering these picture books and other small items. But no, the only thing that I would tailor to someone's dimensions would be the look packages, which you know, I decided not to separate each garment from their look because it's just a lot of work to just produce by hand from scratch one garment. So, but if someone's willing to pay me, you know, a band up to like $1,500 for a look, you know, I'm going to do that for them and tailor it to their specifications.
Yeah. That'd be really cool to have a client work with you on that, like the ideal client, right? And
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I would be so down. But you know, I'm fine making these bags now, and I'm happy people like the small stuff.
Yeah, I mean that's like luxury 101, right? You get your nice bag, and that's what allows you to make all the other stuff because it sells.
Yeah,
that's like
right.
That's like the classic Louis Vuitton story or any of the luxury houses. They're always telling you, get that bag. Who was? I was reading something.
Get bag.
But I was reading something recently about like a company who didn't have a bag, and their person, like, somebody cut them off. It might have been Helmut Lang, actually, when he was originally bought up by, it might have been Prada.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was originally bought up by Prada, and then they were like, you need a bag. And he didn't want to go about making that. So he has a really interesting story.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that dude has always been about what he wants to do. I feel like that's why he left, I think, in 2007, you know, his own fashion house. Allegedly, I mean, I don't know. I don't think there's like a full story on why he departed from the industry, but I think he just got, I'm quoting, and this is just assumption, but I think he just got overwhelmed with the saturation and what the industry was turning into.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate he left that house because ever since, I think the brand has just been kind of uncool.
Yeah.
Since he left. I don't know if you saw Shane Oliver from Hood by Air came and was creative director for a season or two, and I actually bought like mad pieces from that collection because I was obsessed with it, and that was like the only time I thought it was kind of cool. But
yeah, Shane Oliver is really interesting. I need to like. I know about him. I was a little young, like when Hood by Air was really popping.
Yeah, same.
But I need to go back and like make sure I check out a lot of stuff. I know that he was right on the forefront with like Off-White and whatnot, with that whole the merging of sort of the culture and just in general.
Yeah, and he brought like androgynous wear like before anyone I feel like was doing that. and it was very bizarre. I think people were not ready for that.
Yeah.
And I definitely think that was like 20 years ahead of its time.
Yeah, and it's like that is definitely the direction it seems like it's going in.
Yeah, especially, these days, coming out and, people being, equality in the LGBT community has just become way more of a norm these days. And, I think that's going to correlate with products these days even
certainly.
more.
Yeah, certainly. It's the consumers which are changing, and now the companies are tailoring to the consumers'
yeah, which is good.
Yeah, it's a good thing. How do you feel about? And I asked this. I might have asked a similar question earlier. I cannot remember. But fashion now. Anything exciting? Like, do you have any thoughts on cool things that you're seeing happening right now? Where you think things are going to be in a couple years?
Cool things. I mean, we spoke a little while ago about, the textile innovation stuff. I don't know. Right now, I mean, no, because, especially in the past year, because of COVID, I really haven't seen anything, like, really that interests me. Maybe, like, this designer that got headlined, has been making headlines, Ding Young Zhang. I really love his master's collection, and maybe like the Yeezy foam runner that came out, and like that stuff. That was interesting to me. But and maybe some collaborations like Raf Simons went to Prada and stuff. Yeah, that's cool. But I don't know. Nothing super intriguing me. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a weird question because like I even get that from other like fashion friends, and it's like so much of our work is like honestly like focusing on ourselves and developing, and I feel like I spend so much time reading and not a lot of time looking at what's happening currently and like trying to do things on the side. So I feel like it's always for the designers. Like we are active participators, but we're not necessarily always active historians or viewers. We're not always like I keep up, but I don't have a ton of thoughts on like right now. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's just hard to get into anything right now because I don't know the past like 10 months has been just so desolate in every industry.
Yeah.
Everyone kind of took a break, from in-person purchasing and, stuff. So I don't know, especially recent times, it's been difficult to kind of get motivated and get immersed in any kind of industry. But
yeah,
I feel you.
Yeah. It's just a weird time, man. It's just a weird time. Where do you? So you mentioned you were working on the move or the short film. Is that what I should call it? Short film.
Let's call it a movie.
Movie. Okay.
Yeah, let's call it a movie.
Let's do it.
This will be the shortest movie ever, but let's call it a movie.
Yeah, it's a movie. Apart from that, is there anything else that you're working on right now that you want to mention?
I'm working on some kendama tricks. Do you know what kendama is?
Oh, kendama, yeah.
Japanese skill toy.
Yeah.
Been working on some kendama tricks, and trying to say less.
For sure. As I need to be as well.
Yeah, trying to say less. I think we need to normalize thoughtful silences. And what's up? Movie, kendama, and
you're doing some DJing on the side.
Oh my god! Yeah, wait, I forgot what the DJ is. Yeah, Tipping Point. Tipping Point was taking off. Yeah. My buddy Zach and I were in this DJ duo now, and we mix house stuff. That's his fun side. We'd like to take it more professionally, but we got one or two gigs, but and we do our own stuff. But yeah, that's just a fun side thing we do.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I really liked it when I watched you guys.
Yeah,
perform.
yeah, it's so fun. I love performing, and you know, even if it's just taking music but still, you know, DJing is a skill, and mixing it live still takes a skill that you have to know and perfect. But yeah, it's fun doing that stuff live.
Yeah. I feel like when COVID sort of like COVID's dwindling in many ways, but when like live venues can become a thing again, it'll give you. I mean, it's like how it's like how are you supposed to get gigs when there's hardly.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about the low-key house shows.
Yeah.
That like nobody really talks about, but you know they're still going on.
Yeah, they're still moving.
Yeah, it's all about it's all about the house shows right now.
Yeah, yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Or live streams.
Live streams too. Yeah, a bunch of DJs have been doing live streams. Do you know Dirty Bird Gum?
Nah.
He's a guy who makes house music. He's really cool. That's another musician I'm gonna hit you with.
Okay.
But
Good
I think you'd like him. I think he'd also be good to mix with. Yeah. Well, I think that's all I've got for you, man. Do you have any last thoughts on anything that you wanna mention?
Let's see if I got a story. One last story. No, the only thing that just inspired me recently was I was I was driving away from I was driving my buddy Scott and I back home from our friend's house, and we saw this, like, I don't know if y'all listen, like this short bus that was spray painted so shittily in a black color, and it just blacked out, obviously spray painted. And like there was a bunch of I was driving behind it, and there's a bunch of like kids roaming around in it, like not obviously standing up, not wearing seatbelts and shit, and like with a neon speaker, and I could see it in there. I was like, that's a party bus, and it was on campus around in town, and that was just so inspiring. I was like honking because I thought it was funny, because obviously they're kids. Yeah, my age. And like this one dude was trying to like throw me a beer, like mid drive to my car. We did this. I rode up to him. I don't know. We eventually like met at a meeting point at an intersection, still driving like 30 miles an hour. We did this graceful like handoff to the twee to his hand to my hand. Yo, and that shit just inspired me. I don't know how they're getting away with that shit. That shit sounds so illegal, just booze cruising. But, yeah, that shit just inspired me. So, yeah, I think it's this chick, Tori, from, I don't know, whatever. That shit just inspired me.
Yeah. Sweet.
But
no, that's awesome. I hope I can see him riding around before I get out
I'm
of
trying
here.
to get on this party bus, man.
Yeah, where's the invite? If you guys are listening to this, please.
Oh, God, yeah, definitely a low-key thing, but.
All right. Well, thanks, Matt.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, and thanks everybody for listening.
Yeah, for sure. Been fun.